I built this really cool Minmus launch base. You can build rockets on it and launch them directly from Minmus. The only issue with it is, though, it has a little bit of trouble getting to Minmus in the first place. So I put it inside the cargo bay of my biggest SSTO, but unfortunately that didn't work too well either. So I needed to build something a little bit bigger. This is the Dominion 1 SSTO. Now this doesn't have long range capabilities like my other SSTOs like the Archangel, but it can get up to 90 tons, maybe a little bit more if you pushed it, to low Kerbal orbit, which I think is pretty darn cool. It has a giant payload fairing because the cargo that this is meant to haul just really won't fit in the biggest payload bays available. It uses 12 rapiers and 8 whiplash engines, not 4, and this thing is pretty powerful. It's also pretty hard to control. I could tweak a few things with the design, but I messed up here a little bit once I got to orbit actually, and I meant to put the clamshell deploy up and down, but it was horizontal, so I had to use Jeb's magical time warping powers and get rid of it altogether. So here's what it was launching, the Minmus launch base that I was talking about earlier. And it's like a little VTOL swivel engine launch base thing made to land on small moons, even bigger ones I suppose if you gave it a little bit of a booster pack. Once again using Jeb's magical powers here. And it's meant to mine ore and then build rockets using the SimpleConstruction mod. So no mod parts, it uses stock parts to mine stuff and build rockets from that. It also has a little kind of launch pad at the top of it, which is built out of the panel sections. And yeah, it's pretty neat. And we're going to send it on its way to Minmus. And I got it all lined up, and while it's on its way to Minmus, we're going to land the Dominion. So pay no attention to the two side sections not being attached to the main fuselage of it. We'll just imagine there's some like struts or something there. Something's holding it together. The problem with that is that the payload was too wide with all the antennas and everything, and I had to move those out a little bit. But that's kind of a cool thing. You can move those two sections out as far as you need them to be for the payload in the middle. And so you can even have like a very skinny, long one in the middle and still have your engines and everything and your center of mass move to the correct spot. So we are landing it at the desert launch site, which is a pretty odd landing place. But it was just the first one I was coming up on. And if you know anything about my landings, this is yet another great example of me not being able to land a craft. I had a comment from someone who told me to land at about 50, 60 meters per second. I almost did that here, but this is before I got the advice, so I wasn't really paying attention to my speed so much. It's kind of funny. I build this stuff, but then I'm not able to land. So here's the Minmus launch base. We're going to call this the Minmus Space Center, arriving at Minmus. And those engines are way overpowered. But here we are. We're going to meet with the outer gateway, which you may remember from my last Minmus SSTO video where I used the Archangel, the one that you've seen me kind of clumsily shoving this whole base into earlier, to launch a single launch Minmus station. And it was supposed to kind of do something like this, kind of be like a refill station, but I wanted to expand my capabilities a bit and actually have a surface base I can launch things from. So here we are coming up on it, and we're going to steal our crew from here. We have, I think her name's Tiger Kerman. I can't remember exactly, but she has black teeth. I don't know if that's a glitch with the mod I'm using for the IVA here. It's called Free IVA. I found it from a SW Dennis video. I'll put a link down below to his video about it. Really cool, but it does little things like you see on the docking port of the craft that we're controlling right now, the mining rig. It has some weird like artifacts and like gray boxes that you'll have randomly appear. And some of the Kerbals, I think all the Kerbals have, only the female Kerbals have black teeth for some reason. So I might uninstall it just because some of the glitches get in the way of my videos a bit, because there's these gray boxes randomly coming off of things. But here's what it's capable of. It's pretty darn cool. It lets you go around inside of the like science bays and stuff like this, and just have a look around and control your Kerbal. It's really, really cool. You can read all the little doors and stuff that they have for different little tests and snacks and all of that. And even up here, when I get back up to the top, you'll see I found some some really concerning sticky notes. There she is. And it says, don't press red button over there. Then a recipe, and then it says avoid Kraken. I sure hope so. I sure hope so. And then we're going to take back the mining rig thingy and reattach it to the outer gateway station. We left 3 crew here, and we stole 3 engineers from the station to crew the outpost. Space Center. Whatever it is. Now we're going to land it on Minmus. And we're going to aim for that big salt flat over to the right of Minmus. Here's the cool part about this design. This would be especially helpful on moons with higher gravity. Or just planets with higher gravity. Something like maybe Duna. This would be very helpful for, I could see. Especially if you don't have parachutes. And you swivel the engines and cancel out your velocity in that direction, and you don't really have to move the whole craft. And then once you've got that canceled out, you can take the landing gear down the legs and then just kind of VTOL it, which is really, really neat. This worked exactly how I planned, and I hadn't really tested it much. I just put the center of gravity right over top of those engines and made sure that when the fuel tanks on either end were empty, it stayed around about that spot. So technically this could come back up and refuel itself and come back up to orbit and go somewhere else if it wanted to. Like it's got like, you can see it in the beginning of the video, it's got around like 2000 Delta V, something like that. So you might be able to get somewhere with that. But we're just going to keep it right here. This is going to be the Minmus Space Center. We're going to refuel it first and get everything going good. We have Bill Kerman, Tiger Kerman, and Alan Kerman, I think he says. Look at my preview window. But we're going to get some liquid fuel and oxidizer refueled so we have some fuel on board and stuff, because with simple construction, you can build the rockets, but you have to manually fuel them once you have them built. So we're going to do a little test build here in a minute, showing what it's capable of, which is probably the worst thing I could have built, but at the same time I kind of need it for this whole base. There's the launch pad with the giant Clampotron Senior. Here we're going to get Bill out and plant a little flag to mark this is the location of our home away from home, the Minmus Space Center. Now, you'll see this coming up in like future videos. Like with most of my videos, it kind of all follows like a storyline, like an arc of like me progressing in sandbox mode. So this is going to be like a launch location from here out. Not sure how I'm going to work that into videos, because not everyone has a Minmus launch base, so it might not be the most relatable thing, but I think it'd be pretty cool and kind of realistic. So here we're going to build a little like truck. You click there, click select craft, and then you go through and find whatever you're wanting to build. In this case, I'm going to build my Rugged Truck U2. It's a truck with a robotic arm, and it's pretty neat. I built it a while back to just be a universe. So whenever you see any of my craft have like the U tag, the U means like it can be universally used pretty much anywhere. So if it's a SSTO, it can launch from pretty much anywhere. And if it, in this case, it can just be used anywhere because it's just a truck. And that took like 9 minutes, something like that, to build, like an hour or something. Not in real life, but in the game. So just speed it up and you've got it built. It's colored in red and green for Christmas. The red and green lights are actually just like landing indicators, was the idea behind that. But now it's on top of our base and we need to have it on the ground. So do some Tokyo drifting here and get it down to the actual ground, which is pretty goofy. But it landed fine. I mean, it's Minmus gravity. So this has like some cargo room and a couple of cool things like the robot arm. It's just like, it's kind of like that rover out of The Martian, if you ever watched that movie. That was the idea, that was the inspiration behind it. I built it like the day after I rewatched The Martian. But here we are, we're just going to park it over here. It's kind of hard to, this is sped up and it doesn't express how hard it is to drive on Minmus. It's like driving on ice. But that's the finished Minmus Space Center. And if you like this video, subscribe, leave a like, on it, leave a comment, tell me what I should do next, and stay tuned for the next launch from here, which is going to be pretty cool. I think I'm going to be sending a colony to Sarnus.